Well, hi guys. Yeah, I know it's been a minute. So, had a bit of a eye infection issue and some computer problems. But anyway, let's get on to the upcoming video here. I was doing my research trying to find some kind of spooky Halloween video to make you guys. And so it came to me. So I'm going to call this one 6 Degrees of Halloween and Other Crazy Coincidences, or Spooky Coincidences. Now, I'm going to have to go into some backstories and things as to how all of these things coincide, but I hope that you enjoy it. So sit back, relax, and prepare to be, kind of freaked out. So let's get started. So, Carol Ann Ecklund died during the making of the movie, although she did not die on the set of the movie, which was so it had been misreported that she had died during the making of the movie The Blue Bird and had died on the set, which was in fact not the case. She had had an accident during Halloween. Apparently a jack-o'-lantern with a lit candle had caught her dress on fire, and she was rushed to the hospital and had apparently passed away 3 days later, but of course the movie at the time was still in production. But the fact that she was playing a spirit in a movie and of course had an accident on Halloween and died a few days later is creepy. Now here's where things really get creepy. She was the younger sister of Janet Lund, and of course at her funeral all five of her brothers were ushers at her funeral. During the funeral, her favorite song was sung by a choir, Somewhere Over the Rainbow from The Wizard. The movie The Wizard of Oz, which had been out a year prior. So I meant performed. But, of course, she was buried in this very dress, the costume that she wore in the movie, The Bluebirds. The movie did in fact finish production, and of course it premiered in January of 1940, a few months after her. Why, in my opinion, is the movie The Bluebird a very dark and sort of creepy movie? Well, the screenplay was adapted from a book in 1809, but during the whole plot of this movie, the synopsis, whatever you want to call it. So, Mytel and Telltale are brother and sister, and of course, Mytel is a very naughty girl, and she is ungrateful. She, of course, is poor and doesn't get all the fine things that she would like to have for Christmas. But of course, during the beginning of the movie, her friend is sick and possibly dying, and her father is sent off to war during the time that Napoleon was invading both France and Sweden. Now, she is ungrateful, and of course these things happen. A fairy comes to her and basically helps them go to another world where they are made in contact with another spirit. So their pet cat and pet dog are transformed into humans, where they go through all of these different worlds, so to speak, and during these other worlds, the pet cat tries to basically unalive them numerous times. They're taken to a graveyard where they are conversing with their dead grandparents who had been dead for some time. The dead grandparents try to get them to stay in this graveyard with them and chide the children for not thinking of them often enough. And of course, they're singing and playing. Now, the children are only allowed to be in this realm for a certain amount of time. Of course, the cat goes and tries to turn back the clock. The cat then gets them to go to the land of luxury, where, of course, again, they have to stay there for only a certain amount of time. They can't be there too long because, well, if you're there too long, you're going to die in your sleep. But the kids don't know this. And they are the Lord and Lady tried to force them to stay in this land of luxury, and of course the dog is treated like the human, formerly a dog, is treated like crap. They wind up getting out, and of course the cat tries to unalive them yet again. The only place that the cat does not go is to the basically an equivalent of heaven, which is this spirit world where the children come across their sister, who informs them that, oh, well, I'm going to be your sister, but not for very long. And of course, there are kids in this world who are waiting to be born. And there is a young couple that have fallen in love. They're teenagers and they don't want to be separated. And of course, they are, because he has to basically get on this boat so he can come to Earth and be born. So this movie is just, I don't know, it's very creepy and dark. And even though it's set in Christmas, it's just a very odd movie. Renee Shin-chung and Micah Gin Lee were two child actors that were tragically killed during the making of the movie The Twilight Zone. They died on set along with actor Victor Mora. So here again, we have two more children that died during the making or production of movies. All three of these children died during productions of movies, are buried in the same cemetery, just a few feet from each other, although there are some years between the passing of these kids. Actress Heather O'Rourke had also died during the making of a movie. In fact, she died during the making of Poltergeist 3 due to septic shock, which was complicated with congestive heart failure. Now, again, another child that died having to do on a movie set with ghosts and spirits. Of course, this movie is also another Halloween favorite. With the numerous cast deaths, Will Sampson, a member of the cast who actually died, was in fact a real medium and did have to perform an exorcism on the set of the Poltergeist 2 movie. Real skeletons were actually used. Of course, the actress that played the mother didn't know that. And the boy that played Robbie almost choked to death during the making of the film. Now, Dominique Dunne, Julian Beck, and Will Sampson had also died soon after these movies had been released, and there were reports of all sorts of strange things happening during the sets, during the making of these movies on set. Now, here's the thing that is really strange, or that I also found extremely creepy. The was basically had the reputation for, although it was a very successful movie and a Halloween favorite at that, it had begun to get the reputation of one of the most cursed movies. The thing that I found the most creepy is, here's a little girl being taunted by spirits who died during the making of a movie. The name of her character? Carol Ann.
Poltergeist.
They're here.
Now, Brandon Lee was yet another actor who died on the set of a movie. He passed in 1993 during the making of The Crow, yet another Halloween favorite, when a prop gun had malfunctioned during a particular scene. Of course, he and his father happened to have a few other rather strange coincidences that also happened. Now, his father, of course, famous actor and martial arts artist Bruce Lee, had also died on the set of a movie theater. He had apparently had a brain edema due to a possible reaction to a prescription medication. He passed away in 1973 on the set of his movie Game of Death in Hong Kong. He was apparently filming and collapsed and died and was rushed to a Hong Kong hospital. Now, here are some coincidences between Bruce Lee and his son Brandon Lee. Both died during the making of movies. Both died before they turned 33, and Bruce Lee died in 73, and his son died 20 years later in the year 1993. Now, River Phoenix is another actor that had, of course, died tragically. He died due to an overdose in front of the Viper Room. And the funny thing is that he also was a child actor, and he died. But the strange thing is that he did a movie known as Stand By Me, where he and his friends are off on a search, of course, for a dead body.